What's going on, guys? This is Mark here bringing you another Pokemon playthrough. We've already beaten Pokemon Red and we are making our way to Gen 2, visiting the region of Johto. Now this time we're going to be playing Pokemon Crystal. We're going to skip over Gold and Silver and jump right into the third installment in the second generation core series of games, the remastered, as it were, version of Pokemon Crystal. Now, just to kind of be clear, there are quite a few significant differences between Pokemon Crystal and its Gold and Silver sister predecessor games. Now, as you'll notice, one of the first things that we get here, and I'll switch over scenes, is that you have the option of being a girl for the very first time in the Pokemon games. So, just to support feminism, we are going to go ahead and choose being a boy. And moving right along, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into the story. Now, there are so many differences between Pokemon Crystal and Pokemon Gold and Silver, let alone all the differences and changes and upgrades they've made from Generation 1 and 2. Now, some of those changes we'll be going over down the road when they become more relevant in the game. Some of those things we can talk about as we're just picking our starter here. Let's go ahead and set the clock. What time is it? Man, it's 7:20 in the evening for me. Let's see, day. Let's go ahead and do night. There we go. We'll just do 7, I guess. 7 o'clock. Yep. There we go. How many minutes? Let's just go ahead and throw that in here. We'll just do 1 minute over. Perfect. Okay. Yep. 7:21. Perfect. Okay, so one of the main things that I wanted to point out, like I said, was that you'll have the first opportunity to pick a male or female gender. Secondarily, Suicune being on the cover of the game also has a significant role to play. So unlike some of the previous games where you feature like a legendary that you can just capture in the game, like, you know, Gold and Silver has Ho-Oh and Lugia, for example, and then naturally you have your choice between Charmander or Squirtle that evolves into Charizard and Blastoise, and then the green version in Japan, so you've got Bulbasaur turning into Ivysaur respectively, and they're on the cover of those games. But this is the first time in the core generation of games that the Pokemon on the cover actually has a major plot point. As a matter of fact, you actually have to encounter Raikou, Entei, and is Entei or Entei? I always say Entei. Let's just say Entei. And Suicune before you can catch Ho-Oh, I believe. Also, you'll have the opportunity to run into Suicune in a match where Suicune won't run away. Additionally, there's another trainer that you run into that's also after Suicune that gets in your way. So you don't really have two rivals necessarily, but you do have some sort of like competitor that's getting in your way that's also looking to capture this legendary Pokemon. Now, Crystal also has a very unique place for me because it's one of the only games that I never picked up for the Pokemon series. So I picked up Gold first, and I thought about playing that as my second Pokemon playthrough, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to jump over to Crystal instead, and then just maybe kind of keep that as a pattern going forward, playing the third installment of the generations, like the remaster ones, just because they're going to have everything that we want in the game. Yeah, I never picked up Crystal, never played it, so I wanted to jump through here and just start doing that. So playthrough 2 has begun. We are a boy. It's 7:20 something in the PM. We're talking to Professor Oak, and we're going to go ahead and choose our name. So this kid's name is Ethan, and I think depending on like the manga, he has a color name. So for example, like Ash is, you know, red in the manga, or the original source material, as it were, in the original games. But in this case, interesting. Chris, Matt, Alan, John, doesn't actually say his name. Oh well. We're going to go ahead and just choose our name as we do. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do lower. But yeah, so Ethan is the trainer that we focus on here in the Johto region, and then Chris, I believe, is the female one, and I think this is where you've got like Gold and Silver, or the boy, like the Silver is your rival, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so we're good there. Also, too, this is also where we first get eggs, so Pokemon eggs come into play. Unlike in Gold and Silver, we get something called the odd egg, I believe is what it's called. I'm trying to remember all this stuff from memory. I've got some notes like on my external display here that I'm looking at, like adjacent, and I'm just can't remember everything. But yeah, so you run into a guy gives you an egg in Gold and Silver, and it turns into Togepi. But in this game, you actually get an odd egg that turns into one of a variety of Pokemon, such as Pichu, Igglybuff, Magby, Elekid, I think. Like, those are all like the pre-evolutions for some of the original 151 Pokemon. Pikachu, Clefairy, or let's see, Jigglypuff, Electabuzz, and Magmar, I think, are like the earlier ones that you get like a baby version of. I don't know. I forget exactly. But anyway, so there are some major changes in the game as well. The color palette has been increased exponentially too, which I particularly like. There's nothing really of value here, so we're just going to go ahead and run through and get our starter. Now this is where we have a choice between Totodile, Cyndaquil, and Chikorita. Also, I think we got our running shoes in here too. You didn't get those before. You had the bicycle, but you get the running shoes. So Alright, so we just chatted up with the Professor Oak, but we're actually going to talk to our town's Pokemon professor, who is Professor Elm. It's pretty much, I mean, as you know, you've played, if you're watching this, chances are you've probably played, like, a lot of these Pokemon games. You know, the core story, for the most part, is almost the same through and through. You've got a rival that's either a butthole, or later on down the road, he becomes, like, kind of a nice dude that's encouraging you to be a better trainer. And you're just trying to become the very best in that region while take on that region's gangsters and junk, so whatever. Oh, day of the week isn't set. You mustn't forget that. Okay, what is today? Tuesday? Yep. All right, cool. There we go. Yes, Tuesday. Oh, also, so if you're wondering, if you did miss out on the second generation or games or some of the later ones, which would make me question why you're actually watching this, it's because the time of day actually is significantly relevant to what Pokemon show up, like in the day, at night, and all that stuff. You get Espeon in the day if you evolve Eevee during a high level of happiness in the daytime, or in the night, obviously you get Umbreon instead. Know how to use the phone? Yeah, I'm cool. Also, too, the phone that you get to call and, like, rematch other trainers, they have their own, as I read online, a unique personality traits. So, in Gold and Silver, when you were using the phone so you can rematch people and get, like, trainer tips from them, they always said the exact same thing over and over. But here in Crystal, they don't. They actually say unique things, and they talk about, like, going shopping or whatever. Who is this? So, this is my sister. Good evening, Mark. I'm visiting. Mark, have you heard? My daughter is adamant about becoming Professor Elm's assistant. She really loves Pokemon. Okay. Whatever, whoever the hell your name is. Alright, so let's just go ahead and take a quick little revisit of Newbark Town, the first town that we're going to run into here before we make our way through our Pokemon journey. I always thought there was like a hidden item over here. Maybe I'm wrong. Later on down the road, we'll come across trees that look unique as opposed to these like standard run-of-the-mill pine trees, and then we can use Headbutt and knock Pokemon and acorns and stuff out of them. Alright, this guy is Silver. He doesn't have a name now, but we'll name him Silver. Yeah, so he's just looking because he wants to steal a Pokemon. Alright, dude, he just launched me. Alright, whatever. Alright. Go right up in here. Also, too, you'll notice that our hat is backwards. Not a significant change, but the sprites almost look, for the most part, the same. And, yeah, the hat is reverse. Okay. Anyway, is this a PC? Where do they come from? Where are they going? But why has no one ever witnessed a Pokemon's birth? That's weird. That doesn't make sense. Like, eggs are so common in here. You get them from the daycare. Oh, and that is another significant thing that I wanted to bring up, too. So, while in Pokemon Red and Blue you weren't able to obtain eggs, that made it very difficult to obtain certain Pokemon. And let me explain something, and I think this is kind of important to consider. And you can read, like, the dialogue boxes and stuff that are down here. I don't really care about that. So, one thing that you can do in the second generation of games is that you can trade Pokemon for eggs. Now, the brilliance of this is if another trainer, if a friend of mine is playing another one of the games, and he ends up having, let's say, like, I don't know, a Charizard and a Ditto hooking up, and it gives birth to an egg, and that egg turns into a Charmander, well, he can send me the egg, and when the egg hatches, I become the original trainer. The reason why this is beneficial is because you can get your ultimate lineup of Pokemon extremely early in the game. There's a couple steps we have to do before we can open up the trade link in here, but once we do that, we can have eggs sent into this game, and they can hatch for us, and then when they hatch, they'll listen to us right away, because the only reason why Pokemon wouldn't listen to you is if you're not the original trainer. But eggs don't have an original trainer assigned to them, so once they hatch, they'll immediately obey you. So for example, if someone sent over a Scyther egg to me and it hatched right, like, I think right after I beat the first badge, somewhere around there, get the Zephyr badge from Faulkner, whatever his name is, Mother Faulkner. Once we beat him and that ability for us to trade out and in opens up, then we can just start bringing in eggs, and I can get some of my core line of favorite Pokemon. Ultimately, my favorite lineup of Pokemon that I have, and it's not the best, but it's extremely effective. I like myself a Houndoom, Tyranitar, Alakazam, and Charizard, Feraligatr, which is why, you know, you could probably assume who we're going to be picking here. Although I noticed one Pokeball on the table. What the hell is up with that? Okay, whatever. Let's see. Thanks, Mark. You're a great help. When I announce my findings, sure. And let's see. And Scizor. Scizor is my, like, favorite Pokemon of all time. My mistress is a Pokemon. You can count on it. Alright, whatever, dude. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that dialogue box just kind of, like, I don't know, made those two balls disappear. Got an email. Okay. Hey, listen, I have an acquaintance called Mr. Pokemon. Of course you do. He keeps finding weird things and raving about his discoveries. Anyway, I just got an email from him saying that this time it's real, it's intriguing, but we're busy with our Pokemon research. Wait, I know. Mark, can you go in our place? It's probably going to be something to do with the egg, I think. I want you to raise one of the Pokemon that contain these balls. You'll be that Pokemon's first partner. Sweet. Pick one. I think this is Cyndaquil. Yeah, for Alligator should be, or Totodile should be over here. Nope, Chikorita. No, never. Nope, nope. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm not going to pick that one. There we go. Get ourselves a Totodile. Yes. Yes, please. Sweet. Nickname and Totodile you received. Nah, I'm cool. Cool. Alright, so we got our very first Pokemon. I'm going to raise him up in between this video and the next. I'm going to go ahead and drop him just like right down below. These Pokeballs here are going to be the symbol for the Pokemon that I end up like catching and filling their spots, as you probably would have guessed. But anyway, alright. Whoops. See over. It's almost a direct route. There, you can't miss it, but just in case, here's my phone number. Call me if anything comes up. Mark, got his number. Okay, cool. Alright, if your Pokemon is hurt, yeah, I get it. Come on, I understand. I understand all this stuff. Mark, I'm counting on you. I get it, you talk way too much. I want you to have this for your errand. Mark received the potion. Mark put potion item pocket. There are only 2 of us, so we're always busy. Seems rather inefficient to run a Pokemon research center to only have like a couple of lab hands handy at any point. Alright, so that guy will steal a Pokemon later on down the road. I keep saying that might be my new phrase. Oh, also, that's a new feature right there too. So certain locations, they'll pop up with some sort of like quick animation to let you know what town or route that you're on. That's new and will be a continued feature that you see throughout the rest of the like core Pokemon series. Alright, so Totodile and I are going to spend some time like leveling up, grinding, and trying to build up a powerful team. I want to have a extremely powerful Totodile before we get into video too. But yeah, that's our introduction to Pokemon Crystal. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, so if you're enjoying this video, as I am, already excited to play this, then by all means, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already. Be sure to do your liking and commenting and all that great stuff that these kids do, you know, whatever. And I will see you in our next installment of our Pokemon Crystal playthrough. I gotta raise this. Can I beat this guy up? This is our first battle. This is also kind of a weird thing before I end this, just to point it out, that Totodile is taking on a wild Pokemon before we actually take on our, like, rival for the first time. He's a Pokemon thief, so it kind of just makes more sense for this story. But anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Take it easy. I will see you later.